In this lesson of discussion of the application of Wheel of Life to find your purpose and be your best self, we look at how the self audit process culminates in setting goals. Of course, everything you have learned so far taught you about the ABC framework, and the Wheel of Life showed you that goals can only be set when you know the life purpose you want to pursue and that is aligned with your values, skills, and personality. Today, I explore with you the requirements of SMART goals, where SMART is an acronym that reminds you how to construct a good goal. As a vital planning tool, setting and managing goals is a huge part of fulfilling your vision and life purpose. To set and keep goals takes a systematic and progressive process. It cannot be about tackling everything at once, and it also will not work to make major wholesale changes all at the same time. These lofty goals start with great enthusiasm, but they do not last. Instead, it is about breaking things down until you find the first small actionable step, a step that you can realistically shift into a new habit, a habit that is long lasting and can lead to change that you can follow up with even bigger steps. This insight is important because as a learner, you formulate and manage your goals is the mainstay of achieving a successful outcome. So, without further ado, let's get started and look at how to set goals smartly. In the first of this two-part lesson, we cover the principles of SMART goals and how to build a ladder to get to the ultimate outcome. SMART goals. We mentioned earlier that goals should be smart, but now I'll explain that in more detail. The acronym SMART stands for goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. When you set your goals, it is about focusing attention and energy on those things that you hold most important. The first criterion of SMART goal is represented by the letter S for specific. The goal must be very specific about what you want to accomplish. For example, making lots of money is not specific. Losing weight is not specific. Making a lot of money through your online business is more specific. This is not at measurable, but we will get to that. Earning a higher income in your career by getting promoted is more specific. Losing weight through diet and exercise for health reasons is a bit more specific. It is good idea to think about the who, what, where and why when making sure a goal is sufficiently specific. Who needs to be involved to get this done? What exactly needs to be done? These are some good questions you can start to ask yourself. Where will this get done? Why does this need to be done, right? The second criteria is the M that stands for measurable. This is about the metrics that you will use to determine progress and to see if change is actually happening. Remember, we set the goals, but we have to be able to measure progress to know that we are moving in the right direction and at the pace expected. A measurable goal is a more tangible goal. Making $5,000 per month in an online business is measurable. Earning a 20% pay increase is measurable. Losing 20 pounds of weight or gaining 20 pounds of weight is measurable. Reducing your waistline by 2 inches is measurable. Sometimes measurement can be more qualitative or subjective, such as measuring one's happiness or satisfaction. This is based on self reported data and is not as quantitative or objective as dollars or inches, but you still have to select a credible gauge to be used as a comparative point reference. For example, measuring your happiness on a scale of 1 to 10. In other words, it is important to accurately measure the data to ensure progress is being made towards the goal and that trends move in the right direction, not necessarily accounting for every small up and down. If someone is trying to lose weight by exercising more, they may have a week where they gain more muscle and their weight does not drop rapidly. But their overall progress is in the right direction. Then they are on track. The third requirement of a good goal is to be achievable, as represented by the letter A in the acronym SMART. The goal that you choose must be realistic and achievable. For example, if you are making 30,000 rupees per month and wants to invest for the next 1 year to become a multimillionaire, that's not necessarily actually achievable unless there are other exceptional income possibilities such as an inheritance or 100 kilos and want to drop 40 kgs in the next 3 months. That is not naturally achievable and may in fact actually be unhealthy. The point I am making here is that the goal has to be reachable, realistic, achievable. There has to be a really good chance that you will achieve that result when you stick with the program. There is something called expectancy theory, which states that the following. In the first place, an individual is motivated to choose a specific behavior because of what they expect the result to be. In theory, the element is called expectancy. Secondly, they have to believe that if they stick with that behavior, they will achieve their goal, which is called instrumentality. And in third place, they must believe that by achieving their goal, they will receive the reward referred to as valence. According to expectancy theory, without these three factors, expectancy, instrumentality, and valence, the individual will not have the motivation to take the necessary step to achieve their goal. The R is for relevant, the fourth criteria in this SMART goal setting. The goal has to matter to you by being part of your vision, values, and of your overall plan for life. For example, if one goal is to eat only organic foods, while another goal is to reduce your food budget, this could be conflicting. Or maybe a better example would be a goal of adding a lot of muscle mass in the gym and also to reduce their marathon times to be on Boston qualifier. Marathon runners are not bulky because the distance is too great to carry that extra mass. These goals conflict. What is their overall goal? To be healthier, to be more fit. Maybe it is something else like prestige and therefore it changes it up. Make sure your goals fit together like pieces from a jigsaw puzzle. The fifth criteria of SMART goal, represented by the letter T, is being time bound. It is important to set a time frame for when the goal is to be achieved as it adds a healthy pressure. There is not as form of judgment if you do not make it, but rather as a form of motivation to get them moving towards a tangible goal. If your wedding is in 6 months and you wish to lose or gain weight, there is an implied time frame. You actually have 6 months to make the change for that certain event. But sometimes things are more difficult because you may have to decide on a self-imposed deadline. Let's go back to previous example that I used. You may want to have $1 million for your retirement account by the time you reach age 65. This is specific retirement account, measurable $1 million, achievable assuming you have enough time and income, relevant you wish to retire comfortably, and time bound by your 65th birthday. You may want to lose 20 pounds through diet and exercise by next June. So you look good at the beach. That could be your goal. Of course, I'm using really crude examples. This is specific, lose weight through both diet and exercise, measurable 20 pounds, achievable since June is 10 months away, relevant you want to look good at the beach, and time bound by June the following year. By setting goals as SMART goals, this will not automatically result in success for you, but it is another step in the right direction. It is about progress, remember? Now, let's look at how to build and scale the ladder to sustain the progress that is required. Build the ladder. When we look at setting and achieving goals, we want to do so in stages or steps. Think of it like a ladder. You cannot just grab the top rung of the ladder. If there was only a top rung, then it would not be reachable. It would not be achievable. Instead, we have to build the ladder. That is what I will show you here. The first rung on the ladder to success is to identify the goal. Remember that we went through a detailed exercise in an earlier module. We wanted you to look at the different areas of your life and identify where you are now on a scale of 1 to 10 and where you want to be on the same scale. Next, we want you to look for which area has the largest gap, which indicated the room for growth. This simple exercise helps you to identify where you want to do the most work. Now, it's not always the area or aspect with the highest score, nor is at the one with the lowest current rating. Where the largest gap exists between where you are now, where you realistically want to be in a specific time frame is your target. In the process, remember to be more specific than just saying we want to improve our health, be wealthy, or have a great family. So the next step is to dive deeper into the subsection. What about our wealth or health or family needs to change? What's specific about that area? What is the root of it? Right? What's specifically missing? Or the problems you want to resolve, or what you're seeking in this area? You have to use that as an entry point to dig further. As you continue to explore deeper, you will eventually get to an actionable goal, such as you want to get rid of the stress of carrying so much financial debt, like that's the root cause of your pain. You want to lose 20 pounds before your wedding so you look better in your suit or dress. You want to repair your relationship with your children after having been so busy at work and feeling that you have neglected your family and your children. As discussed already, you then want to turn these into SMART goals by satisfying the 6 criteria we just discussed. The second rung of the ladder to success is to list the benefits of achieving your goals. This is the part getting you to commit and creating motivation and a sense of accountability. For instance, what are the benefits of relieving stress from debt? How much will that change your life? Where else your life improve at that point? Many times as we focus on one change, it helps realign other areas of our lives as well, essentially creating a ripple effect for positive change. Vividly imagine and describe how your lives would be or change when you achieve your goal. The third rung is to list the obstacles that may derail or hinder your efforts. Many people get hung up the moment they run into an obstacle. It is as though you are only willing to put forth the effort to change as long as there is no real effort needed. You get surprised by setbacks and then it turns you negative and you lose hope and motivation to continue trying to revert back to your old ways. Instead, a good learner has them foresee and plan for potential obstacles so that when not in, but when the obstacle appears, they are already mentally prepared to deal with it because they know that it's coming. For instance, if paying off debt is your goal, you may list obstacles such as emergency expenses, unexpected events, or unplanned social engagement that comes up. On the fourth rung, you list the knowledge and skills you need to succeed. Using the same example, paying off the debt, you may involve creating a budget or understanding software to make the proper calculations. Having identified skills and knowledge you can begin to acquire these or develop the process to move toward them. Make sure that you are specific and have a definitive plan to get or develop what you need to achieve your goal. The fifth rung of the ladder to success is to identify the groups and people you need to work with, who you need to be around yourself in terms of talent and support to get there. By identifying the groups and people you need to work with, you now have a list to contact, a group to join, or a support or resource network to lean on. The sixth rung on the ladder to success is to develop a plan of action. Basically, this is where you finally choose an actionable item, something you can do regularly to move towards your goal, to gain measurable progress. I discuss this step in much more detail with you in a few minutes. The seventh rung is to set a deadline. When setting smart goals, it should already be time bound. This means that the deadline is already part of the goal. Setting a deadline is the easiest task in one sense, but it requires lot of honesty and realistic thought. You should set a deadline for each of the small steps that will take to achieve your goal, not just your big goal. In other words, set goals, make them realistic, and stick with them until the deadline, at which time you review and adjust the goal and processes where needed. Now that you are already has your foot on the bottom rung of the ladder, it is time to reach up and grab the next rung and start climbing. The next one is also very simple. You stay with momentum right away as you move on developing your plan of action. In the second lesson, we continue the discussion by exploring how to set a plan of action to work on the SMART goals. Until next time, keep up the amazing work and let happiness be the choice that spread joyfully